Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Market Watch Group's Wednesday Market Midpoint. My name is Scott. I'll be your host. Good to see everybody. As always, our disclaimers, education and illustrative purposes only. Nothing is intended or should be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell. Anything done should be done at your own risk. We're not brokers or advisors. All right, let's keep going. Okay. What are we going to do today? Opening analysis. Futures are up. We'll look at the revisit of the market postures. Anything looking like it's going to change? We dropped a point this last week, halfway through. Do we think it's going to stabilize, or do we think it's going to possibly get a little bit worse? That's one of the things that we definitely want to know. Open trades. Yeah. I mean, for anything new, we're just kind of looking to see if it's going to develop and get going. So, yeah, that sounds right. That looks right. We'll look at our opportunity list. In fact, last night in the second session, we were looking at a trade on BYO. Let's see, what is it? BYND, Beyond. Looking at that trade to see if it looked interesting. We'll see how it looks starting out this morning and if there's anything there. So, yeah. That was one of our setups. There was a couple that I saw. We'll see if there's any others. And then trading plan progress of the week. We had a chat about it. Hopefully your routines section is being worked on or feeling pretty comfortable, and you're scoring that section of your trading plan a little bit higher. Okay. Let's get into it. I don't think that's refreshed. Let me get everything reloaded here. I read an interesting article that was like, even after everything we've seen with the pressure, with the Fed, with the jobs, and this is from a couple of large bank, I think it was B of A and one other, that said, don't expect a rate cut this year. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. I feel like we come at it pretty objectively, and that the news that came was a downward revision enough to indicate the kind of weakness that would require a cut. Yeah, press, that was my response as well. I was like, oh, really? And that what they pointed to was balance in the labor participation, meaning even though there's less jobs there's less jobs being looked for, hence the unemployment rate staying stable at 4.2. And so I was like, okay, that's an interesting take. So yeah, I was like, all right, I guess we'll see. I was looking like, the September makes sense as we now look into a not a can we, but should we type of a situation. Give me your thoughts on that. Clearly, press had the same reaction I did. What else? Futures climb as earnings take center stage. That makes sense. Mickey D's rising after the U.S. sales reverse. Interesting. Shopify jumps on Q3 revenue. Novo slides after missing estimates. NFL takes a 10% stake in ESPN when deal with Disney, but Disney is lowered their guidance. I think Disney's set to drop. What else? What else? Uber announces buyback. McDonald's rebounds. Berkshire shares tumble as Buffett prepares to step down. Okay, interesting. Well, it's mostly earnings that we're seeing here, but it's fairly mixed, I would say, overall. Let's take a look at our economic calendar. Yeah, let's see what we have in here. Okay. So, yeah, did anyone notice anything weird looking at this? If you look at this calendar about the trade deficit number, because I was like, I swear it said that the forecast was a positive 65 billion at one point. I was like, that has to be a typo. There's no way that we moved into, and it was. It's moved higher. It's gone from 71 to 61, and actually ended up at 60. Not that that's necessarily the right achievement, but less of a deficit. Anyways, today we expect just some Fed speak, not much. Tomorrow, jobless claims. And it's tough because, we never really saw jobless claims give any type of a forecast about the jobs. Like we saw it tick up to 250-ish for 1 week, and then it just sort of sunk back down. I don't know. Maybe we are overreacting to the job news that we just got. Maybe the Fed's not going to give that cut on the first opportunity. I guess we'll see. We had two Fed. Okay, so September we had two Fed members dissenting, which is the first time in more than 30 years. Although I gotta say, like, you're really starting to feel a politicization of it. When the two dissenters were like the most recent Trump picks, is my understanding, Trump additions, where it's like, is the Fed trying to enact the will of the president rather than staying apolitical? So if that's why it's happening, I don't like it. If it's that they're looking at the data and the data says, hey, this is the job situation that means we need it. That's what I'm hoping leads to the decision, because from the political side, there's too many. I saw a congressperson's like, do you realize how much money we can save on debt by lowering the rates? And it's like, whoa, that's not what the Fed's for. Their job is not to increase or decrease interest rates to try to manage debt payment. That's outside the scope of relevant information. So I don't know. I go back and forth on that. All right. What else? Yeah, that's it for this week. Do we have anything major next week? Just looking ahead. CPI. There you go. CPI on Tuesday, which means PPI should be on Thursday. There it is. So we will have some more information, right? We will have more information by way of inflation. Okay. Okay. Let's get to the watch list. Let's talk about the midweek check-in. How's the posture holding up? We'll start at the SPY. Ooh, there's Beyond. So it's right where it was. I don't know. We'll see if this comes out as an alert. But if you want to see the analysis we did, I was looking at a September 10 strike call. Nice reward to risk ratio. Let's get this what we're used to, about 300 in risk. There we go. 300 in risk, 450 to the first target. That's about 1.5 to 1. Now this is going out a week in time. And then we also have better than 4 to 1 up here. Yeah, let's keep an eye on it. Right? Let's keep an eye on it. Okay. All right. Let's get to okay, BYON. I was thinking BYND. Good morning, Vladimir. Good to see you. AAP got a new signal yesterday. A little bit of movement. Staying on the line. We always like to see staying on the line. That's always helpful to us. We've got Apple today showing a positive jump after some disappointing earnings reaction. Always helpful for the NASDAQ to have Apple moving the right direction. I want a little more space than this. Let me get 6 months. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see the the sidewaysness of this trend when you extend it out a little bit further. So yeah, patience on Apple for me. Amazon trying to stabilize. There's not much there for us right now. APH pushing highs. I want to see an actual consolidation. I think that would be helpful for us to have an actual consolidation. ASTS, that was one we looked at on this little turn, and still, you just don't have a lot of time. 811, so it just doesn't give us a lot of time. So, not much for us there. Okay, AXP. Not much in the credits right now. BAC. Bank of America, not much there. Beyond looks pretty interesting. Citi setting up. Caterpillar dialing back. Earnings came out. They missed on earnings. They were looking for 492. They got 472. But didn't really have a negative reaction. In fact, it's to me it looks like it's stalling and stabilizing and possibly setting up a trade. So, yeah. Interesting, interesting. Let's keep going. CCJ. CCJ looked interesting, actually. That's possible. CLS is dialing back and looks like it's setting up still. I see kind of a triangle or a pennant slash pattern in here, which is not that different from a flag. You can see that one day right there giving us this bottom just sort of changes the way that this looks a little bit. But overall, it's, overall, it's the same basic prospect. Still setting up, still potential. There's things that are giving us good looks, so we'll be on the lookout for it. CNM. So CNM, I'm thinking of dropping from the watch list, and the reason I say that is because I didn't like the liquidity. I actually here didn't pull the trigger because I was like, I don't like the liquidity. In fact, I'm going to bounce it. It's gone. It's off the list. Okay, let's keep going. Capital One, nothing. That's credit. Coinbase. Look at it's interesting how well crypto's doing and how poorly Coinbase is doing. Am I wrong? They got well overblown. I mean, that's from its high near 450. We're 33% down. Coupang. We were looking for something pre-earnings. Got a little piece pre-earnings, and then it just gave out. Coupang's off the list after the earnings. We never traded it. We found it. We thought maybe, and then nothing. Cisco, nothing. Sideways. DoorDash. Looks great. Earnings are today, though. So what are we looking for here? I'm looking for something like this. Somewhere in here. Is there going to be a pullback and the next trade? That's definitely what I'm looking for. All right, let's keep going. Delete this, move on. Let's go. Diamonds. The Dow's pretty flat today. EA pulling back today. I think EA is giving up enough to get considered again, actually. Okay. EXPE earnings are in a day still, so we're still seeing a good amount of reports coming. How's Ford doing? Iffy. Futu, I looked at that one, saw a little bit of a bounce. I think that one, if you're in it, I mean, that was the signal here. We didn't end up pulling the trigger on that one. But seeing this move, this looks pretty good. GE, it's bullish, but it didn't really give a signal there. I would say still looking for this pullback. GE Vernova, same thing. And I would say GE Vernova maybe looks a little bit better. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yeah, GE Vernova, definitely a setup here for us. Definitely looking for something. Gold. I know that some people liked the way that it looked on this bounce, trying to come out of this. But I felt like we've had really, really sideways action. So I just don't feel like there was a lot in place for that. So, yeah. Okay. Anyone trading gold? It definitely looks like it's stalling. Let me know what you're going to do with it. Google. So Google looked great yesterday at one point. Then it gave it back. Now it's just still sitting on the line though. So I'm staying with this one. Looks fine. Right now, looks fine. Okay. Tell me if you're in any of these, you guys. I'm curious. It's gotten quiet in here. Goldman. Goldman's one of the stronger of the financials that we're seeing right now. Okay, let's keep going. Hasbro, sideways. Robinhood, sideways but down a little bit. Howmet. Ooh, maybe it's trying to find support here. We've really kind of kinked sideways, though. This trend we were on doesn't seem to have held up. So I'm a little bit leery, but we'll see. We'll see. IBM still well down from earnings. IVZ, yeah, kind of seemed like it was trying and then just fell short here, right? Okay, we can be patient. IWM, small caps are just sort of paused. Joby paused. Earnings coming out today after market. Levi, it's trying. Love is well down. Las Vegas Sands holding on, still kind of in that spot, right? Still kind of in that spot. Meta, great earnings. But there's nothing here for us until we see a consolidation. We've got to see what the sellers do right now. Morgan, I don't know. I can't help but just notice this right now. This is what stands out for a lot of these charts. Right? Some sideways action that's just not giving us much. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe, if I can get rid of my lines. Microsoft, setting up. It's got a great just grind trend, but it accelerated on the earnings, gapped up, new high. Now we're pulling back. This looks great. I would absolutely trade this bounce. Right? Absolutely. Okay, let's keep going here. If I can move my lines. Micron. I think I'm going to leave it, but Micron's really struggling right now in the chip space relative to some of the other competitors, which we'll see here in just a minute. Netflix is well down, still in consolidation. Here's NVIDIA. I would say NVIDIA is in setup mode. Again, here's that pennant slash flag type pattern. If we start moving, I feel pretty okay about that. We'll see. That looks interesting. What does a buyback usually portend, if anything? It's usually favorable. It's usually favorable because their results are good enough that they have some money, and they see enough strength that they want to pick up shares at the price that it's in. And of course, when they buy back shares for their own holdings, it's going to put a little bit of buying pressure into the stock. So we'll get to Uber and see, but usually that's a good thing, buybacks. NVIDIA still looks strong. Pagaya, PGY, it looks okay. PLTR did great on earnings, but there's really nothing for us here until we see the next consolidation, the next cycle. That will give us the next possible setup opportunity. QQQ next in line, in fact, Sandy, and you can see the Qs are holding up after that pullback, and they're kind of sitting here like maybe. That's what we see down here. Maybe very similar look to we had this back here, and it gave us this type of a sign, and that worked out great. We've had this consolidation here, this kind of a sign. Looks okay. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Any others that someone wants to look at as we go that we haven't necessarily? We can take a look. Okay, let's keep going. Ooh, KKR. KKR is an old friend from last year. We had a few good trades on that one. Oh, I love it, Sandy. I love it. I'm putting it on the lists. A dear old friend of ours. And looking for a setup. Absolutely. We just had the higher high. Pulling back. Here's our support level that seems to be forming. Still above the 50. You can see the stochastics is moving into a position. We just need to see the buyers make a run, and then we're thinking, okay, that's going to turn it for us. So I like that one. Nice pick. Yeah, looks nice. Anybody else have one for us to take a look at? Let me know. We'll keep going. Adobe, Bob says. Love it. Let's give it a look. Clear. Ooh, Adobe does not look so good. In fact, I would say, if anything, this looks bear flaggish, where we have a lower low, lower high, bam, lower low, lower high, bam, lower low. The pole, if it does this and turns over, that's another one. You can see we're testing near the lows. 332 is the low. That's probably there. Yeah, that one's been beat up quite a bit. That knife is falling, so let's let it bounce and hit the ground before we try to pick it up. VEEV. Okay, let's take a look. Viva Systems, and this one's very similar to others, where what stands out to me is that, with the exception of this day for half of the day and this day for half the day, we've been in this range for the last 2 months. Right? For the last 2 months. Okay, let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. What time is it? Oh, we're good. Still got to talk about the plan, but we're almost done here. Let's get to QS. QS still trying to see if it's going to hold this support level or not. It's kind of a heavy drop from that high. This is almost a 50% drop. So big move up, not quite as big down, but yeah, there's some concern there that it's a sell-off more than anything else. Okay, let's keep going. Roblox is absolutely setting up. This looks fantastic. Oops, let me redraw my lines. Boom. Old high, new low. Gapped up on earnings, fine. Sells off, fine. Yeah, just looking for this. You can see the stochastics. Roblox is a mover. It's a mover. Right? So we definitely want to be ready, because if you miss it, it doesn't give you a lot of chance, right? It does not get a lot of opportunity. Okay. But that's on my list for sure. Reddit just won't slow down. Unfortunately, it was primarily motivated by earnings, so it didn't give us much of a chance. Rocket Lab is at its last pre-earnings breath. Earnings are tomorrow after market, so you could hold one more day. Just never really got... I mean, the trend is still intact. That's what's hard about this. An entry today on which one? Roblox, press? Agreed. Agreed. Okay, let's keep looking. But yeah, Rocket Lab, honestly, I'd still be thinking it looks like a setup potentially. It's got a lot of potential. RTX, still in a setup move. Just made a higher high, very mild pullback. Great trend. Here's silver. Not much there. Looks a little better than gold, though. More of a trend, SoFi. Chopping around a little bit. Here's the SPY. We're up 0.25%, so it's not bad. Not bad. TME. Not much there. Tesla. Not much there. TSM. I'd still say it's viable. Yeah, I'd still say it's viable. Uber. Oh, we don't love to see that, right? I mean, it gapped up on its earnings and now it's engulfing. It beat expectations, not by much, but it did beat. Yeah, that's a tough one. Something like that makes it feel like this line's coming down, so be aware. Visa down at new lows. Today's VIX. Okay, so here's my biggest concern of the market. This is my biggest concern of the market. Is we have increased in volatility. We've taken out the old high, got to this, pulled back, and this is stalling at a higher low, right? And if this turns and reverses on us and whips, that will generate our next trade alert, which will likely be a hedge, right? That's what we tend to look for a hedge. So that's a bit concerning for us right now, is that the institutional escalation is there. VRT looks fantastic, actually. VRT looks great. Okay, let's keep looking. Walmart. The last lower high on the VIX, let me go back to that press. Walmart's trying to bust out a little bit. Here's Win. Okay, so we have some opportunities, but I want us to be very careful, because if that VIX comes and spikes, we're going to be looking to clean out anything that's remaining bullishly. Let me see here. Friday. Today's Wednesday. So this high you're saying, this was Friday, and you can see we spiked up. We only got as high as this, so it's not like it's outrageous, but you know, it's definitely concerning. Jobs report day. Yeah. Yep, that's when we spiked up a little bit. So yeah, I'm concerned. Now it could just keep coming down. We're not going to anticipate or project or predict that it's going to. Because if we got all of a sudden a bullish day, then another bullish day, we could be back at 15, and then we're like, oh, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. So what would I say? As long as things hold up, I'd still look to put another trade on. I'm still much less than I was. You know, we see, as we have our market posture drop a point, I don't see anything else that's gotten worse. So it seems, at least as of now, that we're going to stabilize. If we start to see, you know, things like the higher low, that'll cause our score to continue to drop. And once I get that higher low, the odds of a new bullish trade drop significantly until we see how that plays out. So we're in a precarious position right now, is what I would say. Okay, trading plan, Section 5, routines. Section 5 routines. Where if nothing else, get the daily done. Then the next pass, get the weekly done. And then the next pass, get the monthly. Whoops, not that. Craig, I will absolutely go back to those. Google seems fine. Google seems fine. Now, if it keeps crossing this line, then not so much. But for now, we're going to give it a minute, especially after seeing yesterday. We saw the buyers. They maybe tipped their hand a little bit, or maybe they failed. We don't know yet. But overall, I'm still okay with it holding. AAP. AAP looks great. Hey, hip, hip, hooray. We'll take it. Beyond, ooh, see, and that's why we wait. We're like, well, maybe we wait a little bit and see. New trades are iffy. Existing trades look fine, but be careful, especially if the new higher low develops and we get a hedge signal on the VIX. That's how I would summarize it. All right, how are we feeling after this? Feeling all right? Well, it's the best we got. Nimble. Love it. Press says nimble. Sandy says impatient. I get it. I get both of those. We can be both. We can be both. All right, you guys. Glenn will be here this afternoon for an hour to close this market down. We'll both be here tomorrow night for a working session. Yeah, I mean, look. You know, we did pretty well when the conditions improved. Now that we see them pausing or regressing, we're going to do pretty well, which is don't give back. Keep trying. Don't give back. Let's see what we can do. Time to take a deep breath and not get greedy. Great advice. That's great advice. Amen to that. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, happy trading.